Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of CryptoTV. I'm your host, Ornella Hernandez, and I'll give you the latest of Web3 news in the crypto world. Today's topic is Bitcoin, and we have a special guest joining us, so stay tuned. Many things happened this week, including a federal judge in Seattle ruling that former Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao, or CZ, must stay in the US until he's sentenced. And Montenegro's justice minister reportedly said that Terraform Labs co-founder Do Kwon may be extradited to the US. And a mushroom-centric auction from Sotheby's is the latest development in the debate around Bitcoin ordinals. Let's get into it. So let's get started with the elephant in the room. Crypto prices are in the red. I know. Bitcoin went from 43,000 to 41,000 this week. Most of the top 25 cryptocurrencies are in red this week as well. ETH, Sol, Link, all down. The market is cooling off slightly, but this is no cause for concern, folks. Corrections and drawbacks are normal, even during bull rallies. Just plan accordingly and maybe buy some more before it goes up again. Or in my case, I'm using any crypto I still got to buy Christmas presents. So reminder to buy yours if you haven't yet. Anyways, why is crypto cooling off right now? Well, there is one likely reason. And it's that a few US legislators proposed a bill to crack down on crypto. This cracking down seems to never end, unfortunately. U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren has been trying to build an anti-crypto army over the last few months, and her latest move was to propose a new bill called the Digital Asset Anti-Money Laundering Act of 2023. If passed, it would extend the Bank Security Act requirements to digital wallet providers, miners, validators, and other network participants that facilitate digital asset transactions. It will also impose bank-like Know Your Customer (KYC) rules on non-custodial software products and wallets. Or, as ex-user Intangible Coins, aka Alex Thorne from Galaxy Research, put it, this bill calls for dramatically expanding the Bank Secrecy Act to cover open software, including non-custodial wallets, miners, and validating nodes, which, as he goes on to say, would essentially outlaw crypto in the US because decentralized software cannot plausibly perform centralized compliance functions. I know this doesn't sound great, but Senator Warren has proposed over 300 bills over the last 8 years, and only 0 have become laws. 0. So she's all bark and no bite. Remember that crypto is a high-stakes game. Fortunes can be built and lost overnight, which is why it attracts a lot of brilliant people, from engineers to investors, but it also attracts the most brilliant of scammers and risk takers too. Think about it. It's like a mechanical bull at a bar. It's all fun and games until someone starts projectile puking everywhere or goes flying off of it. Let's face it, for crypto to survive, reckless players need to get wrecked and GTFO. Long-term believers will be rewarded, and those short-term reckless risk takers may be punished. So even if it causes prices to go down for a little bit, it is necessary for long-term survival. So stop doom scrolling Twitter or X or refreshing crypto prices for just a minute and go out and get some fresh air after watching this show, of course. And while the price of Bitcoin is only halfway back to its all-time high, it's good news that transaction volumes have already been on its way to reaching all-time highs. And the size of the mempool, or the area where data waits to be posted to Bitcoin, has exceeded its previous highs from 2018. On top of that, interest among developers, founders, and venture capitalists appears to be at an all-time high as well. There's new energy in the broader Bitcoin ecosystem, which, come to think of it, is a bit ironic because the point of Bitcoin has always been to be a form of hard money because its supply is limited, right? But let's face it, folks, things have changed this year. And the renewed excitement around Bitcoin is being driven by its newfound ability to host new kinds of data, like Bitcoin Ordinals, similar to NFTs, and the prospect of doing new things like stablecoins and even staking as it becomes more programmable. I think this is good, but not everyone's happy about it. Some Bitcoin maxis think that ordinals and NFTs are a spam and that the code that allows for it is a vulnerability. They don't want to see Bitcoin's block space full of pictures of dogs and monkeys, turning the mempool into a meme pool, which, if we admit, is very easy to make fun of. Some are concerned that using the Bitcoin blockchain to store data like NFTs increases the cost of running a full Bitcoin node, which could lead to centralization over the long term. And they're also concerned that this might make it harder to achieve Satoshi's original goal of building a peer-to-peer payment system. Now, my hot take here is that this controversy is more likely fueled by cultural differences. Those who prefer game-like activities and memes, and those who are more serious about the business side of things that make Bitcoin a non-sovereign store of value, which it is, and it will always be, I think. But the worry is that the perception of it will change and that it may turn into something else. But in the end, blockchain, crypto, Web3, and even Bitcoin will be what the people want it to be. So why not make it all of the above? A monetary store of value that also stores data, hosts a stablecoin, denominates DeFi, pays for your coffee, and inspires digital art collectors. Let's talk about Bitcoin Ordinals for a bit. Launched earlier this year, Ordinals allow for creating NFT-like assets on top of Bitcoin by letting people inscribe data to individual Satoshis, which is the smallest divisible unit of a Bitcoin. Meanwhile, Ordinal critics have been very vocal recently as the protocol gains traction with influential art firms. For example, Sotheby's. This week, the 200-year-old auction house hosted an auction for Bitcoinshrooms, which is a series of ordinal inscriptions created by the pseudonymous artist Shroomtoshi. This represents the first time that Sotheby's has engaged with a class of NFT-like assets on Bitcoin. And it has been selling art on Ethereum for a couple years already. Art prices from the collection that are included in the sale have garnered bids mostly above their respective estimates. And notably, Sotheby's accepts bids on Bitcoinshrooms in crypto. And if we scroll down to the bottom of their page, Sotheby's states why it thinks that ordinals are so special. It says that ordinals benefit from important qualities that are not usually observed by Ethereum NFTs, like on-chain immutability, because all ordinals are inscribed on-chain as opposed to most NFTs on Ethereum that may be stored elsewhere and not on-chain. But this isn't true of all collections, of course, just some. And the second reason is that of sovereignty. Sotheby's states that Bitcoin ordinals are not subject to any smart contract logic that may create restrictions or certain limitations on transferability, or that may give privileged administrators permissions to modify or censor NFT metadata at will. Now, personally, I love to see this, and I applaud Sotheby's for doing this. And it's not the only auction house to embrace digital art. Christie's and Phillips have also been regularly hosting successful auctions and implementing digital art departments into their auction houses, and even launching their own platforms for it and supporting artists. Now, if you guys are interested and curious, then go check out the results of the Bitcoinshrooms auction and let me know what you think about it in the comments. Are you a fan of Bitcoin ordinals? I am. And hey, one thing is true. The token ORDI, ORDI, has been going up. So maybe you can also look into that and decide if you want ORDI or to buy a real Bitcoin ordinals. And in the meantime, please welcome a special guest on CryptoTV. Today's special CryptoTV guest is Catie Romero-Finger, who is the founder and COO of Babs. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me. Great to be here.
Yeah, it's great to get to talk to you. We met the other day in Dubai, and I wanted to just get your take on a few things before we get into Babs and all that you do. First, wanted to ask what you think about Bitcoin ordinals. Are you a fan? Are you not a fan? Do you think it's a passing fad or here to stay?
I'm actually very much interested in to see what happens with them. I think they're going to be, because we were actually been at Agora for the last 2 days, and someone on a panel was talking about how everyone's looking at Ethereum and all the projects on Ethereum, but if you look at the market cap of Ethereum versus the market cap of Bitcoin, it's like abysmal. So Ordinals, being a Bitcoin project, we should really be paying more attention to, because it's actually probably has the potential to be much more than any of the Ethereum projects we've seen up to now.
Maybe. So you're not a maxi then, a Bitcoin maxi? No. Okay. Yes, that's true. So we met at the Global Blockchain Congress earlier this week, and Agora Group was the sponsor of it. You were a presenter and panelist as well. Yes. So lots of people were talking about this topic, and I don't know. Some see it as like, no, but Bitcoin should only be a store of value. It shouldn't have other functionality. I think it's a good thing. I agree with you. I'm also a big fan of Ethereum though, so I say why not? Like, why can't all chains do everything? The more the merrier. Definitely. All right. Okay. Good to know. And then I also wanted to get your take on some other recent events. Okay. Namely, in Miami we had our Basel Art Week, but also Crypto Week at the same time.
I don't know if it has a new name.
So you were there. I unfortunately could not go this year, even though I've gone in prior years. So I wanted to just hear from you how it went.
Yeah, actually it was my first time going. And so I didn't really know what to expect. I was excited to be in Miami. I haven't been to Miami in years, so I was just excited to be in the city. As you know, I'm Latina, so I was, Miami has a vibe. It's great. You can speak Spanish. I think I spoke more Spanish in Miami than I speak in Spain, which is where I live.
That's the thing.
Every taxi driver, every shop person, but I don't know. I felt a little underwhelmed, I think, was my takeaway, in the sense of it felt, and maybe that's what Art Basel is, and I just expected something different, but it didn't feel super serious. Like, it felt like what crypto bros and degen stuff used to be. Should have, and that at this point we should be more mature. So I went to a lot of parties, a lot of gatherings, we were at like the D-God's house, which was great. But at the end of the day, I think it didn't feel, it's like the community coming together, you meet new people, but it didn't feel, I don't know, I think if you were an outsider coming in and seeing that, I don't know if you would have the most confidence in the industry. Okay. So that's my key takeaway. I said to my team afterwards, next year I will probably not go, but send like the community dudes, because it would have been their vibe.
I see, yeah. So Basel's all about the parties.
I think so.
Yes.
Unless I just was in the wrong area, I don't know.
It's Art Week because a lot of major art expos go on. But as crypto seeped into the festivities, it became a little more degen for sure.
Yes.
And that week, people they dress up crazy in their, most colorful outfits and just try and make a statement. That's really what it's all about. But hopefully you were able to go to some productive meetups and meet cool people.
Yeah, absolutely. I met amazing people that have been in this space for a while, new people. I went to an investor gathering, which was really interesting because as I've been in Europe for 16 years, I haven't been to, most of my gatherings I think are between Dubai and Europe. So to see, or New York, which is more similar to European vibes. It was interesting to see kind of the investor outcome there and the people, what they're looking to invest in. So yeah, it was important that I went. I'm glad I went. I did it. I saw it, and maybe next year if I go, it'll just be for less days.
Okay. Yeah, it's also exhausting.
Yes, it is, because it is, and it's just one of those things where you're trying to get so much in, and there's so much going on. So yeah, it's exhausting.
Yeah, I know. Been there, done that. I think it was actually nice to take a little break this year, to be honest.
I'm sure.
All right, so now let's get into you. You mentioned that Europe has been your home for the past few years, so tell me about what you've been up to and about Babs and what you're working on.
Sure, yeah. Babs is a Web3 strategy, marketing, and PR firm. We're a completely decentralized team. We're global. We're women-owned. My co-founder is a woman. We started out being like 80% women. Now I think we're probably 50-50.
That's good.
Yeah, it's great. We're all about inclusivity, and we're excited about that. We have a very diverse team, where most of our team is between Europe and the US. We do everything from the beginning to the end, as we say. But if people ask me, like, what are your really strong points? I think I always say, go to market, use their acquisition, branding. We are very much design led, and PR. Those are our kind of staple pillars as Babs. And my co-founder lived out here for a long time, so we have a nice connection to the region.
Okay, gotcha. So what are some of your most proud moments? Maybe projects that you worked on or some companies that you worked with that, moments that really stood out to you during your time?
Yeah, I think my most proud moment is probably the fact that we started Babs 2 years ago, and like our first year, of course, we were more in a bull market. We were super successful. We brought in several projects from all over the world, from gaming to DeFi, and it was a total entrepreneur grind. I mean, it was just two of us that we hired, one more person, and now 2 years later, we're at 15. I have no plans to become 100 people. I don't think that's not what I want to do. I like that we're niche and boutique, but I think all of the projects we've brought in have really solid names in the industry, and that's important to me. And we haven't ever lost a client because of someone being unhappy, and so that's really important to me, I think.
Okay, so as a leader, as a CEO, how did you deal with the changes in market and dealing with the bear market? You said you didn't lose clients, that's great, but maybe less money came in, or how did you deal with those challenges?
Yeah, no, that is true. When FTX happened last year, God, it was already last year, right?
November 2022.
A lot of our founders, actually more than actual projects, founders had a lot of cash in that. And so it was a hard time for them. We had a founder that needed to take like a month off and just kind of disappear. And we had to scale back a lot of stuff. And it was really one of those moments where you're like, are we gonna survive this?
Right.
And so it was hard, but I always say it was actually just talking to Nastia, my co-founder, who's also like a sister to me at this point, that when you have a co-founder, it makes it so much easier. So there are days where it was really hard, but both of us could be down on the same day. So you're like, okay, it's a hard day. We just have to keep grinding, keep at it, and it'll get better.
Yeah, just day by day, keep going.
Exactly.
For sure. All right. And then what else were some other concerns that you've heard from your clients throughout this past year, just having to face ups and downs in the market?
I think the biggest concern is when there's not a lot of liquidity happening, or at least being deployed, founders are worried, can we make it through enough to be able to just survive? And because if you're not the next unicorn, you're not going to get funding right now. It's been just a really uphill battle. So there's a lot of how can we help them scale back some things and support them in this ride? If it's just keeping up the PR so that the appearances look good, and maybe scaling back a different service, we'll do that. Or we also we're very much in the VC ecosystem. So we're very much, if you're a client, you're our partner. We're trying to help them find funding. We're trying to make connections, partnerships, just to make them hopefully survive at this point.
Right, right, it's all about survival. Okay, so then now that we're nearing the end of the year, I wanted to just ask how you rate 2023. Maybe give me a peek in a pit, the highest moment, lowest moment, and why it was important to you.
Yeah, I think the lowest moment was probably kind of the beginning of the year. I think when we saw the dip in prices of all of the coins, and it was also the traditional financial market, right? We're looking at close to inflation. I mean, it depends on who you talk to, if it's inflation and we're in a recession or not, et cetera. And there's a lot of, those moments are really hard because you think, is this gonna bounce back or not?
Yeah.
But now that we're seeing Bitcoin go up, I think it's exciting. Is this gonna hit 100,000? Where are we gonna go from here? So it's nice to close the year out on a positive note.
For sure, for sure. And what was the high of the year, the peak of the year?
Yeah, I think the high of the year will probably be next week for me, in the sense that, we have about 5 potential projects that could come in before end of year. And so we're in those final talking points. So I think I'm gonna predict that next week will be the high, because we will close a lot of new clients.
That's good.
Maybe I should knock on wood.
Everyone's trying to close these deals before the end of the year. Makes sense. Hopefully they do go through for you. All right, and then you said that you were positive about the market right now, and that we're gonna go into the new year on a positive note. What do you think is gonna maybe be the final factors that trigger that next bull run? Like, what else do you think needs to happen?
I think that we need to start seeing some VCs take a chance on some projects that aren't this last 2 days at the Global Blockchain Conference, the Agora conference, there was a lot of nice talk about different diverse pillars or verticals that people are going to invest in, and not just infrastructure and ZK and all that stuff. So I think we're going to need to see someone take the first step. So a couple VCs, even if that's like A16Z or whoever it is, come out and say, I'm going to take a bet on these guys. And that, I think, will have a trickle effect. Because if there's no money going into the system, it's hard.
Right. Okay. No, of course. That makes sense.
That's what we need. Someone start funding these projects so we can start helping them, grow.
Okay. And then what would you like to happen specifically and personally for Babs and in your life in the next coming year when it comes to business?
Yeah. Well, obviously, we always want to grow. In terms of more projects. We also really it's important to us partnerships. So partnering with the right partner, whether that be media partners or that be events. We're very much in the event space because we know Web3 is very much about the IRL component.
Do you think that's a good thing, by the way, the fact that there are just so many events all the time?
No, I think it's good, but at the same time, you have to vet them.
Right. You can't go to everything.
No, and if you do, you don't work. That's what I always say. I'm like, there's no way these people that are going to every event actually have a job. Because I don't get it.
Yeah, me neither.
Because it's your job. You go to these events, and you must be exhausted trying to do your other work too, right? The back end stuff of production.
Yeah, for me it's fun because I get to talk to everyone and cover it, so I do like it. But you're right, I can't go to everything.
Exactly. Yeah. But some are really, really important, I think, to be at. I think important people are there, and a lot lots get said, and they kind of are the marking points for the industry. So,
do you have a favorite event or expo or meetup from this past year?
Yeah, I think Consensus was really good.
Okay.
I thought that the content was good.
Yeah, in Austin.
Yeah. And it was my first Consensus, so I didn't really have an expectation. I thought that was really good. I think Agora is always really top for the conversation and understanding the trends. So I think that's a top event. NFT New York is one of those events where it's like you have to be there because the city lights up.
I know. I'm from New York, actually, so I didn't go this year, but last year I actually met my boyfriend there. So for me, it was a top event.
Perfect. I love connection. Yeah, I think I went right after the pandemic. So I think, what was that, 2021, right when we came out? Mm-hmm. And probably was life-changing event for me as well, in that sense of just really, everyone was coming out of the pandemic. NFTs were like spiking. I kind of hope it goes back to that, like being in theaters and not in a conference center, but I'm not sure they can do that at this point.
We'll see what happens. And you just mentioned NFTs. Do you actually own any NFTs? Are you a collector? We
are. We actually usually buy them as the agency. So we'll buy any collection that we launch. We always buy a couple of them.
Okay.
I have a Women in Weapons. I loved that collection, but it seems to have kind of not gone as far as I thought it would.
Yeah.
But I identify with the chicks and kind of the badass chick, which is what Babs stands for, so it makes sense.
Women of Weapons.
Yeah. I thought it was a really good project.
You still have it though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't sell it. Yeah. I don't buy them to flip them. I buy them because I think they're art.
Yeah.
But yeah, I probably have like 10. And then as an agency, we probably have more just because of projects that we've, you have to support the people that you're working with.
Of course. No, I think that's a good philosophy. I also have a few. My favorite is my Lil Pudgy.
Oh, those are cute.
Yeah, it's cute. I love Pudgy penguins, especially now with everything that they've done. The plushies in Walmart, they've expanded a lot more. So I think it's going well for them, hopefully. That drives my price up. But again, not because I want to sell it, but just because it's special to me. Okay, cool.
For sure.
And then I did want to ask also some more like what if questions. So if you could memorialize any memory or moment in your life as an NFT, what would it be?
Oh my God.
Think about it.
So hard. I would say it probably sounds cliche, but becoming a mom.
Okay.
I think that's probably, it's like one of those things that when people say, what do you stand for? I think mother is probably the first thing that's important to me. it's an extremely hard job to have, but it totally changes you. I mean, you no longer can just think about yourself. So that probably would be my NFT. Not sure what it would look like, but hopefully it'd be appropriate.
Okay, love that, I love that. And if you could have any blockchain-based superpower, what would it be? Like if you could do anything related to Web3, crypto, blockchain, what would it be?
Probably like the very, very tech stuff. I mean, like coding, and when I'm on those calls, or we have a ZK client, and when I just feels cross-eyed sometimes on those calls, because they're just so, to understand the tech to that ability, and to, you know, be able to explain nodes and all that. I get it enough, but not to the deepest level of what these developers understand. So
same. Yeah, that's a good one. I think I would also like that.
For sure, I would
understand everything at a technical level.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. All right, and then just to close up, I wanted to ask, what is the best way for people to get in touch with you and to learn more about Babs?
Yeah, so we are very open for anyone to connect with us. Both Nastia and I are on LinkedIn. We're very active on LinkedIn, on Twitter. Babs, it's babs.xyz is our website. You can drop us a line there too. We have a form you can fill out. We always try and answer within like 12 hours. So any questions, just reach us on any form of social media, really.
Awesome. And any advice that you may have for other founders, other women in the space, or anybody that's trying to get into the industry?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is trying to be as positive as possible, and not, for founders, I think it's crucial to have a co-founder, and make sure that co-founder is like someone that you will go till the end of the earth with, kind of thing, because I know co-founders that fall out. You have to really, like me and my co-founder are the yin and yang. We're complete opposites in so much, but it balances us really well. So try and stay positive, and definitely look for someone, even if it's not a co-founder, but someone in the space that kind of can understand. I mean, entrepreneurship is not an easy thing. Yeah, so it's just know that it's going to be a grind. That's all. I think. Be what's the word? I know, realistic.
Realistic. Okay. Wise words.
Yes.
Wise words. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Catie.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me on. It's a pleasure.
All right, and everyone, please make sure to watch the recap of the event that we mentioned, the Global Blockchain Congress, up on our page, and stay tuned for the rest of CryptoTV.
In the crypto market, Ordi is up 22% today and 213% in 1 month. The price is $61.92. BTC's price is at $43,234. Ether is trading green at $2,310 today. And DOT from Polkadot is also up this week with a current price of $7.34.
That's all for today, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you liked this show. And if you did, make sure to give this video a like and check out other Web3 TV coverage on our page. See you guys next time.